You've seen the Instagram version, the aesthetic mornings, the silver MacBook, the cappuccino with those little leaf things on it, and the broker on a balcony in linen trousers closing six-figure deals from their iPad. Now that is not the job. The job is a complex case sat in your inbox for 3 days you don't want to open. An underwriter who hasn't replied since Tuesday, and a client who's gone quiet, a lead that's just come in cold, and somewhere in the middle of all of that, the bit they actually love is the call where you actually genuinely get to help someone make a massive financial decision and they trust you with it. I did this job, employed at Connell, self-employed, out of my own spare room, in my house. I dreaded parts of it and I loved other parts of it. Now, I'm going to be straight with you about which they were, including a confession nobody else in this space will tell you. Because if the only version you've seen is the polished one, you're going to be very, very surprised by week 3. So this is the honest day, morning to evening, with no polish, built around the one bit of structure that decides everything else. So over the next kind of 10 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through what a typical day actually looks like. I'll give you the morning order of operations that runs every successful broker's day. And yes, there is a specific order. And yes, most brokers do get it wrong. I'll show you the bits I genuinely loved, the bits I dreaded and used to avoid as much as I possibly could, and the moment in every broker's afternoon where careers quietly die. And there's one idea I'll keep coming back to because this is the thing the Instagram version never tells you. The flexibility of brokering is not a perk, it's a test. Pass it and you've got the best career in the country, in my opinion. Fail it though, and you've got a phone that never goes to sleep, a job that follows you into every single room of your house, and a family who's barely going to see you. The brokers who pass the test all do the same thing. They run their day in a specific order around a default diary. They treat it like a rule. Get that right and the rest looks after itself. Let's do it. So most brokers run their morning reactively. Whichever fire is the loudest, that's the bit they're going to pick up. Inbox open, scroll, click, and look at, oh, look, that's important. Oh, that one too. Oh, 2 hours have gone and no actual work gets done. The Instagram version of that never shows you that reality because the Instagram version doesn't have a morning. It cuts straight to the cappuccino, like I said. I ran mine in a specific order, and it's the order I teach now because it works. 4 steps in order every single day. Step 1 is emails that need a response from someone else. So not the long ones, not the ones that need thinking time, but the ones where the only thing stopping the case moving forward is just your reply. Solicitors waiting on something, underwriters needing a clarification, clients waiting on a document. Get those out the door first thing so other people's days can start unlocking that too. The earlier you fire those off, the earlier they can come back, and the more of your day quietly compounds in the background while you do other work. Step 2 then is run agreements in principles on anything where the documents have just landed. Then ring those clients straight away to tell them. Quick win for them, quick conversation for you, pipeline moves forward, everybody's still got coffee in their hand, and by 10:30 in the morning, you've already given 3 or 4 people a positive update on their case. That's the bit Instagram, again, doesn't show. The quiet, unsexy, deeply professional work that's actually what clients hire you for. Step 3 then is the on-the-business work. Lead generation, content creation, marketing, that stuff that doesn't feel urgent but fills your pipeline in 3 months' time. This is where most self-employed brokers fail. They tell themselves they'll do that later in the day. Later never comes. And then the inbox eats it, the caseload eats it. And by the time it's quiet enough to think, they're absolutely knackered and they just want a cup of tea. 3 months later, they're wondering why their pipeline is dry. So do it in the morning when you're sharp. Before the client calls take over, this is the single biggest order of operation mistake new brokers make, and it costs them their entire next quarter. Self-employed brokers specifically, your business does not move forward on cases. It moves forward on the work you do between the cases. Protect that time first, not last. Step 4 then is packaging cases. So working through the live pipeline, chasing documents, uploading files, preparing for the day's appointments, and then around midday, the first client call of the day should start. From that point on, you're in a rhythm. That's the spine. Emails out, AIPs ran, on the business work done, packaging, and then clients. Most brokers run their day in completely the reverse order of that. Clients all morning, admin all afternoon, business work never gets done. If you reverse that though, your career will change significantly. Now, I want to be honest with you about the bits of the day that I actually loved because the polished version, again, will never tell you this. Discovery calls, every single one of them. The first proper call with a new client, getting to understand their situation, diagnosing their problem, selling my service properly. That connection that happens when somebody trusts you with one of the biggest decisions of their life, and you can feel them kind of lean in because they realize you actually know what you're doing. If you don't enjoy that, this isn't your career. That's the test, because the discovery call is the kind of engine of every single thing that follows this. The case, the protection, the relationship, the remortgage in 2 years' time, the referral. The brokers who treat discovery calls as a chore are the brokers who plateau. But the ones who treat them as the best part of the day are the ones who build properly. And it was my favorite part of the day. A typical broker is doing 1 to 3 discovery calls a day, depending on lead flow. Each one is 45 minutes to 90 minutes done properly. And self-employed brokers in their first kind of 6 months might do far fewer because, again, their pipeline isn't there yet. But established brokers will block 3 in a day and feel energized by the end. Now, the other part of the day that I genuinely loved was the submission call, bringing the client back in after research is done, presenting the mortgage recommendation and the protection recommendations together, close it before the application goes in. That call is where everything you've kind of done the research on just meshes together and works. Done right, it is the highest value call of your entire case, because that's where the protection gets closed properly before submission. That's where the income on the case effectively doubles and could even triple in some cases. I've covered the mechanics of this on a protection video on this channel and also on my podcast channel, so you want to check that out if you haven't already. But the point for the day is this: the submission call is the structural high point of a broker's day. Done right, it's the call that pays for itself many, many times over and gives the client genuinely the best outcome they can possibly get. That's the bit you should be looking forward to when it's in the diary. So now let's talk about the part nobody else in this space will tell you because it's not flattering. So I'll say it. The bit of the day that I dreaded every single day, I couldn't stand this, was the admin and the case management side. The packaging and the chasing and the documentation and the compliance write-ups, anything that requires me to sit with my head down for a proper kind of hour and grind through detail is not great for me as a dyslexic. It's a bloody nightmare. And here's the bit I'm not proud of. I used to actively avoid those complex cases, the big debt consolidations, the unusual income structures, the self-employed clients with really messy accounts. The ones that needed a proper hour of my full attention. Honestly, I did have enough leads coming in eventually when I was self-employed and always when I was employed that I could just pick the easy ones and quietly just leave the hard ones at the bottom of the pile. Now, that was lazy. Looking back with everything I know now as a coach, it was probably one of the worst habits I've ever had, because some of those complex cases were exactly the clients who needed a proper broker to help them, and nobody else would take them on. I should have been the one to take them on, but I didn't. My dyslexia and my ADHD didn't help, but they were an excuse, okay? Not a reason. And the brokers who build properly aren't the ones who only take the easy cases. They're the ones who take the hard ones and become a better advisor in the process for it. So here's the line I want you to actually hear. The complex cases are where the trust gets built, where the referrals come from, where the fees are bigger, and where the next 10 years of your career will compound. Avoid them and you will have a busy career that probably never grows long term. Take them, build systems around them, hire admin help the moment you can afford it, and you'll become the broker other brokers refer to. If admin isn't your strong suit, that's fine. Mine wasn't either. But you have to put structure around it. Block the time in your diary. Use the CRM properly. Hire help early where you can. The admin won't go away. The brokers who pretend it will are the ones who quietly underperform for 10 years. There's a moment every working broker has every week, and it is the 4:45 on a Thursday. You've got an underwriter query sat in your inbox and you've been avoiding it since lunchtime. The kettle's been boiled 3 times. You've reorganized your desk. You've checked LinkedIn. You've answered an email that genuinely could have probably waited till tomorrow, and you're not actually doing the work. You're thinking about doing the work, but that's the moment. Every broker has it, and it's the moment that decides quietly, without anybody watching, what kind of broker you're going to be. The brokers who become brilliant at the job do this in the next 60 seconds. They open the query, they reply to it, they move it forward. One small action against the resistance every single time. The brokers who plateau let that moment win. They tell themselves they'll do it first thing tomorrow, but tomorrow it's still there. By Friday, it's been there 3 days. By Monday, the client is asking why the case hasn't moved. And so year one of brokering is just that 4:47 p.m. Thursday moment over and over and over again. That discipline you build there is the entire job. Now, most brokers are managing 20 to 30 active cases at any one time. Some at discovery, some at fact find, some at research, some at submission, some with underwriters, some between offer and completion, and some in their post kind of completion window. Now that sounds like a lot, and without systems it would be. With a CRM doing the heavy lifting, so things like Smarter 365, Acre, One Mortgage System, Broker, whichever you land on, 20 cases is genuinely manageable inside a 4-day week. The pattern I always teach is the same. Volume isn't what kills brokers, disorganization kills brokers, and you can carry 30 cases comfortably with the right systems. You can drown in 8 without them. Roughly 40% of your week is invisible to clients, submitting applications through broker portals, underwriting queries, document chasing, pushing cases through valuation, handling the post-offer side until solicitors complete. The clients see the mortgage, but they don't see the 17 tiny interactions that you had with the underwriters that kept their case alive. That invisibility is exactly what they're paying for. There's also a bit that I have to be straight with you about, because it's the question that catches most new brokers out, and the one that broke me when I think about it honestly. When I was a broker, I didn't have my kids yet. My wife had a full-time career in cybersecurity, so the work-life balance overlap was easy because there was no overlap to navigate. I could let work bleed into evenings, into weekends, into whenever. Nobody was pulling at me. I had no balance, and I didn't notice that I had no balance because nothing in my life was demanding it. But if I was running that same broker setup now, 2 children, a third on the way, and my wife homeschooling our children full-time, that model would have destroyed me without question. Here's the line I want you to actually take from this video. The flexibility of brokering is a test, not a perk. Self-employed brokering without a default diary isn't flexibility. It's a job that follows you into every room of your house, every meal with your family, every evening you're supposed to be off, every weekend you said you wouldn't work. The ones who get the flexibility are the ones who built the rules. The ones who don't build the rules don't have a flexible job. They have a phone that they just cannot put down. Decide in advance what your week's going to look like. Decide what time to stop. Decide what evenings are off limits to clients. Decide whether you take Saturdays. Then defend that diary like the FCA or the regulator is looking at it. The brokers I see thriving with families aren't the ones with magic time management hacks. They've got a default diary written down and they don't bend it. Full stop. That's it. That's the test. So then what do the hours look like? Employed brokers with busy estate agent attached firms, you're looking at 40 to 50 hours, including Saturdays. That's the trade-off for the lead flow. Employed brokers in a standalone brokerage, probably typically 35 to 40 hours most weekdays. Self-employed brokers with proper systems, 30 to 40 hours, often condensed into 4 days. The top performers I work with reduce their hours over the years as their remortgage books mature and they start to get more administrative help, but they don't increase their hours. Then can a mortgage broker work from home? Yes, completely they can. I ran my whole broker career out of a spare room, and the systems are cloud-based, the clients are happy to video call, and the lenders don't care where you are. The career rewards structure. It punishes chaos. Hours don't make brokers successful. Order does. So now you got the honest version of the day, the order, the bits that are good, the bits that are dreaded, the moment every Thursday afternoon that quietly kind of decides whether or not you're going to be a good broker or not. But the thing this video doesn't show you is what happens when the whole shape of these days is brand new to you. When you're 3 months in, your admin is piling up, your discovery calls are still nerve-wracking, and the income hasn't caught up yet. That's the bit that breaks most new brokers, and nobody warns them about it properly. So that's what I talk about in this video on this channel right here. Your first year as a mortgage broker, what really happens. Give it a click.